It's been less than a week since Keegan Godsey started live streaming the alley behind his East 6th Street apartment.
I just thought people need to see this.
Oh, you crack smoking motherfuckers, get out of my f***ing alley!
Some pretty terrible stuff comes out of it, but that just brings eyes quickly, I guess.
Good for nothing.
This was The Window of Life, a 24/7 live stream of a crack alley in Austin, Texas. It exploded in popularity due to 4chan's pull board and IP2, producing some of the funniest IRL content we've seen in years. But what made the show particularly interesting was the interaction between the audience and a slew of antagonists that attempted to shut down the live stream. Starting with Karen, she was the first to report Keegan to the police for a noise complaint.
Rockstar, turn the music down.
The police coming straight from the underground, and not the other color, so police.
She also put up posters with Keegan's mugshot and a fine print essay explaining to the homeless that they were being watched by thousands on the internet, but none of the crackheads seemed to care or notice her IRL blog post that she wanted them to read.
We're in the alley right now, and Karen put up a picture of Keegan, his mugshot and all.
In turn, Pol and IP2 put up their own posters about Karen, but I don't think she liked them that much. Oh, and by the way, the stream is so loud that you can hear it blocks away from the alley.
Yo, guys, this live stream on YouTube is literally right behind my condo in this alleyway over here. They're literally just trolling the home.
Earlier was playing, it said, if a black person has walked behind you, run.
Wow.
While Karen failed in her ability to shut down the live stream, she at least succeeded in drawing the attention of law enforcement to the alley. Police begin giving Keegan daily tickets, but they're so bad at their job that they end up finding him for both a hate crime and a noise complaint, and making it sound like hate crimes are acceptable during the day due to the wording of the ticket.
And they were like, oh, Mr. Godsey, just the one we were looking for. He gives me this ticket. It says, hate crime. Has deployed speakers from his loft and recording streaming content. This content includes hate speech, such as repetitive use of the N-word and threats towards law enforcement. He said it's just after 10 p.m. and that I can have the speakers out there playing whatever I want from the hours of 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Yeah, it's fine to do hate crimes during the day. That's so terrible. This whole situation is so silly, bro. Like, literally, like, there are people out there, like, dying, overdosing on crack, and killing themselves, and they're, like, walking right past them. Well, who's in charge of that speaker up there? It's past 10 p.m.
However, Keegan was able to get a hot Jewish lawyer to fight the tickets in court for him.
I talked to the lawyer today. She is super hot and super Jewish, so that was a good thing. I enjoyed that conversation.
Police even set up their own live stream of the alley, with rotating shifts to always have a police officer on duty in the area. Keegan even began to win over some of the cops in Austin's police department because they liked his content and hated the homeless so much.
The cop said he watches all my TikToks. He's like, it's the TikTok guy. And then he was like, we got a camera right down the street. You're telling me they got camera footage of all this shit too, and it's still going on? What the f***?
Even Austin's subreddit sided with Keegan against the police department, which honestly says a lot with how dogshit they are. The worst thing that they did was break into Keegan's apartment when he wasn't home to shut off the live stream, which was definitely illegal, but they didn't give a shit.
Alright, so now that I'm not even here.
Oh, right. I should probably talk about the landlord. At first, Keegan tried to take the diplomatic approach by explaining to him that he wasn't the one playing the audio, and that if he wanted to, he could easily pay more in rent, with all the donations coming in, of course. But considering that this guy was a slumlord that puts a fucking sink in a bedroom, this route was optimistic to say the least. He instead gave Keegan a boomer tier rant trying to shame him into turning off the live stream. Then he tried acting tough by pointing at the camera in the alley. The landlord even cut off Keegan's internet, but luckily Keegan found a workaround.
So no, I didn't get a disconnection notice or anything. Dude, it's clearly like a move against me because they've been trying to get me to move out. but they can't. They said they don't want to take me to eviction court. And then I haven't heard from them, and then boom, they found my weakness. I have to have internet. If I don't have internet, I probably won't stay here anymore. Well, guess what? I got internet.
The landlord also kept Keegan's deposit, citing the broken window as the reason, even though Keegan wasn't the guy that broke it, but whatever.
Dude, there's glass everywhere.
There was also a cast of side characters that made minor appearances, trying to interfere with the stream. Tons of homeless threw shoes or tried ripping down the speakers. A man that IP2 and Pole dubbed Amish Guy had a whole arc.
Get the fuck out of the alley and mind your own fucking business, you little soy boy piece of shit Bernie supporter. F you.
And the neighbors behind the wooden fence tried throwing eggs and using lasers to damage the camera.
You gotta pump it up! Pump it up! You gotta pump it up! It's coming from right over that fence from the other apartments. They're in their little parking garage and they're throwing eggs and shit.
The window of life was a beautiful thing while it lasted. The memes were amazing, and one Anon even made a shitty animation.
You down there, in the alley, I have a message for you.
What?
Get the f*** out of my
Baking soda, cocaine, how sweet. I need to find me a crack pipe and I'm complete.
It was a sad moment when Keegan quite literally pulled the plug on the stream. But I want you to look back at some of the streams days before it was taken down. Notice anything? It's empty, right? There's no one there. With a loudspeaker heckling and drawing attention to people in the alley, it made it difficult to do any of the illicit activity people were used to doing in the alleyway. And since there were no people in the alley, there was no reason for viewers to play media. The Window of Life wasn't just a live stream where Pole could call people the N-word, it was a show that entertained thousands.
Cowboys in the showers at Grand Ranch walking beside cowboy cops.
It gave Keegan enough money to move out of his slum apartment.
Thank you for helping me get in a better place in my life and being able to move out of the shithole.
It exposed the hypocrisy of the Austin Police Department, and ultimately, it cleaned up the alley. And yeah, sure, eventually Keegan had to end the stream, but as he put it,
And in the end, who really won?
You know, the Window of Life is like so controversial, I don't like to talk about it too much. I gave people a medium to speak to the public from behind their screens, and that's how they chose to act, and I think it was a super interesting, like, social construct, like, you know what I mean, like, social experience.
Careful not to scare the normies. He's in a mental hospital. This guy says, "Don't scare the normies." That was his his favorite saying.